Worre's GoPro 7 Steps to Becoming a Network Marketing Professional, Chapter 5, and we are on Step 2. Step 2, compliment the prospect. This is critical. The sincere compliment, and it must be sincere, opens the door to real communication and will make the prospect much more agreeable about hearing what you have to say. Examples for warm market prospects. You've been very successful and I've always respected the way you've done business. You've always been supportive of me and I appreciate that so much. Great to use with friends and close family. You have an amazing mind for business and can see things other people don't see. For as long as I've known you, I thought you were the best at what you do. Examples for cold market prospects. You've given me some of the best services I've ever received. You are super sharp. Can I ask you what you do for a living? You've made this a fantastic experience. The key to the compliment is it must be sincere. Find something you can honestly use to compliment your prospect and use it. This simple step will literally double your invitation results. When you start with urgency and a compliment, it becomes very difficult for a person to react negatively to your invitation. People don't hear compliments very often and it feels good. You will find your prospects will become very receptive. If you study the pros, you'll find they're constantly putting people in a good mood through their honest and sincere compliments. It helps to build rapport. It helps to open people's minds, and mostly it helps achieve our goal of education and understanding. Step 3. Make the invitation. This is a situation where one size does not fit all. There are 3 kinds of invitation approaches for the network marketing professional. The direct approach. That is used when you're inviting people to learn more about an opportunity for them. Most people use a direct approach for all of their prospects. It usually goes something like this. I found a way for you to get rich. Let me tell you all about it. Blah, blah, blah. I understand the passion, but really, who's going to get excited about that unless they're getting a call from a millionaire? That doesn't mean the direct approach doesn't work. It does. It has an important place in your invitation process, but it should be reserved for people who know and respect you, or for people that you know are searching for something better. Examples for warm market prospects. When you told me you hate your job, you need more money, you wanted to find a new house, etc., were you serious or were you just kidding around? They'll almost always tell you they were serious. Great, I think I found a way for you to get it, solve the problem, or make that happen. This is for situations where you know an area of their dissatisfaction, need, or desire. I think I found a way for us to really boost our cash flow. When I thought of people who could make an absolute fortune with a business, I thought of you. Are you still looking for a job or a different job? I found a way for both of us to start a great business without all the risks. Let me ask you a question, off the record. If there was a business you could start working part-time from your home that could replace your full-time income, would that interest you? Examples for cold market prospects. Have you ever thought of diversifying your income? Do you keep your career options open? Do you plan on doing what you're doing now for the rest of your career? You can follow these cold market scripts or any variation with the following. I have something that might interest you. Now's not the time to get into it, but. The indirect approach. This is powerful. This is a powerful tool to help get people past their initial resistance and educate them on what you have to offer. The indirect approach is about asking the prospect for help, input or guidance. I used this approach extensively and with great success when I first started out. Because of my lack of credibility at age 23, I couldn't get much success with a direct approach, so I learned to play myself down and play up to the prospect's ego. It worked incredibly well and it still works today. Examples for warm market prospects. I've just started a new business and I'm really nervous. Before I get going, I need to practice on someone friendly. Would you mind if I practiced on you? This is a great approach for family and close friends. I found a business I'm really excited about, but what do I know? You have so much experience. Would you look at it for me if I made it easy on you and let me know if you think I'm making the right move? A friend told me the best thing I could do when starting a business is to have people I respect take a look at it and give me some guidance. Would you be willing to do that for me if I made it simple? Examples for cold market prospects. When you meet someone from another city, state or country, and if your company does business there, you can say, "My company is expanding in your area. Would you do me a favour and take a look at it and let me know if you think it would work where you live?" When you meet someone who might provide good input on your product, you can say, "I've started a business with a product I think makes a lot of sense, but I'd like to get your input. Would you be willing to check it out and give me your opinion?" The super direct, indirect approach. The third approach is the super indirect approach, and this approach is incredibly powerful because it works on a number of psychological levels. In this approach, you tell the prospect they aren't a prospect and you're just interested in finding out if they know someone else who might benefit from your business. It's very effective. Examples for warm market prospects. The business I'm in is clearly not for you, but I wanted to ask, who do you know that's ambitious, money motivated, and would be excited about the idea of adding more cash flow to their lives? Who do you know that might be looking for a strong business they could run from their home? Who do you know that's hit a wall with their business and might be looking for a way to diversify their income? I work with a company that's expanding in this area and I'm looking for some sharp people that might be interested, some additional cash flow. Do you know anyone who might fit that description? In most cases, they're going to ask you for more information, and before you give any names, behind that request will be curiosity and intrigue, thinking this might be for them, but they're not going to admit that to you yet. When they ask for more information, you can respond with, "That makes sense. You'll want to know more about it before you refer some of your contacts." Then you can just move to step 4. Examples for cold market prospects. Cold market is exactly the same as warm market for the super indirect approach. Just use the warm market scripts or any variation that's comfortable for you. Step 4. If I, would you? This question has been my secret weapon for a very long time. It is by far the most powerful phrase I've come across in building a large and successful network marketing business. If I gave you a DVD, would you watch it? If I gave you a CD, would you listen to it? If I gave you a magazine or some other printed material, would you read it? If I gave you a link to a website with a complete presentation, would you check it out? If I invited you to a special invitation-only webinar, would you attend? If I invited you to a special invitation-only conference call, would you listen to it? This question is so powerful, and for a number of reasons. First, it's reciprocal. You're saying you will do something if they will do something. As human beings, we are hardwired to respond positively to these types of situations. Second, it puts you in a place of power. You're in control, you're not begging, you're not asking for favours, you're simply offering a value exchange. And third, it implies that you have something of value to offer. You're saying you will do something, but not unless the other person will do something in exchange. When you value what you have, people will respect you. When I first started, I didn't know about this magical question. I just said things like, "I really, really, really want you to watch my video, try my product, listen to the CD, etc." Can you imagine the results? The whole psychology of it is weak. If you use "if I, would you," you're having a business conversation. If you use "I really, really, really want you now," you sound desperate, and a desperate distributor is not attractive. If you've used this approach, you already know what I'm talking about. If I, would you gets results. It gets people to say yes. It helps prospects see what we have in a different light. Remember, our goal is education and understanding. If I, would you, helps us achieve that goal. If you've started the call with urgency, complimented the prospect, made the invitation and asked if I, would you, their answer will be yes, almost 100% of the time, and you can just go to step 5. If they ask for more information first, just respond with, I understand you want more information, but everything you're looking for is on the DVD, CD, printed piece, link, etc. The fastest way for you to really understand what I'm talking about will be for you to review that material. So if I give it to you, would you review it? If they say no, then thank them for their time and move on. Also review steps 1 through 3 to see what you might have done better, but do not give your material to them. So you've gone through the first 4 steps and the person said yes, success. They've agreed to review your tool. Does that mean they will follow through? Nope. In fact, only about 5% of your prospects will do what they said they would do if you just use the 4 steps. And 5% is not a good number. To get closer to 80%, you need to complete the invitation process professionally. Step 5. Confirmation. Number 1, get the time commitment. You've asked if I, would you, and they've said yes. The next step is to get a time commitment. When do you think you could watch the DVD for sure? When do you think you could listen to the CD for sure? When do you think you could read the magazine for sure? When do you think you could watch the link for sure? Don't suggest a time for them. That's another mistake I made early on in my career. Just ask the question and wait for them to respond. This question makes them think about their schedule and their commitments. Find a place to review your tool and communicate that back to you. In other words, it makes it real. When you first asked if I, would you, and they said yes, it was Sunday. When you get that time commitment, it starts to be real. The only thing that matters is that they give you a time. It doesn't matter what that time is. Let them think about their schedule and tell you when they will have reviewed the materials for sure. About 90% of the time, they'll give you an answer. The other 10% of the time, they'll be vague, saying something like, I'll try and do it sometime. If they do that, then tell them, I don't want to waste your time or mine. Why don't we just lock in a time when you'll have seen it for sure? Remember, they already said they'd review it in step 4. This is just confirming the time. The key to all of this is they have now said yes twice. The first time when they answered if I, would you, and the second time when you received a time commitment from them. So now you have to give them the tool, right? Wrong. You're not done yet. The professionals take a few more seconds to complete a couple more steps before they're finished. Step 6. Confirmation. Number 2. Confirm the time commitment. If they tell you they'll watch the DVD by Tuesday night, your response should be something like, so if I called you Wednesday morning, you'll have seen it for sure, right? If they say they'll listen to the CD by Thursday morning, your response should be, so if I called you sometime later in the day on Thursday, you'll have listened to it for sure, right? If they say they'll watch the link by July the 1st, your response should be, so if I called you on July 2nd, you'll have looked at it for sure, right? They will either naturally say yes or they will adjust the time slightly. In any case, the significance of step 6 is they've now confirmed 3 times and they are now much more likely to follow through, and they said they'd review the materials, they would do it by a specific time, and if you called them after that, they would have reviewed the materials. You've asked the questions, their answers made the appointment. The key is this isn't an appointment you've set, it's an appointment they've set. Step 7, confirmation number 3, schedule the call. This step is simple. Just ask, what's the best number and time for me to call? They'll give you what works best for them, and now you have a real appointment. All you have to do is be sure to remember to call when you said you'd call. They've said yes 4 times. The whole invitation took a few minutes, and your chances of achieving your goal of education and understanding has gone from about 5% to about 80%. Step 8. Get off the phone. Remember, you're in a hurry, right? Once you've confirmed the appointment, the best thing to say to someone is something like, great, we'll talk then, gotta run. Too many people make the appointment and then unmake it by talking and talking and talking. Remember, our goal is education and understanding, and we're going to let the third-party tool do the most of the work. Here are some examples of all 8 steps. A person you know who hates their job, direct approach. Hey, I don't have a lot of time to talk, but it was really important I reached to you. Listen, you're one of the most financially intelligent people I know, and I've always respected that about you. When you told me you really didn't like your job, were you serious or were you just kidding around? They say they were serious. Great. I think I found a way for you to create an exit strategy. I have a CD that describes what I'm talking about better than I can. If I gave you this CD, would you listen to it? They say yes. When do you think you could listen to it for sure? They say Tuesday. So if I called you Wednesday morning, you'll have received it for sure, right? They say yes. All right, I'll check back with you then. What's the best number and time for me to call? They give you the information. Got it. We'll talk then. Gotta run, and thanks. A good friend, the indirect approach. Hey, I'm running out the door, but I needed to talk to you real quick. Do you have a second? Great. Listen, you've always been so supportive of me, and I appreciate that so much. I've just started a new business, and I'm really nervous. Before I get going, I need to practice on someone friendly. Would you mind if I practiced on you? They say, sure. Great. If I give you a DVD that laid out the information in a professional way, would you watch it? They say, yes. It's about 15 minutes long. When do you think you could watch it for sure? They say, Thursday. So if I called you Friday morning, you'll have reviewed it for sure, right? Fantastic. What's the best number and time for me to call? They give the information. Great, we'll talk then. Gotta run, and thanks. A highly successful person, super indirect approach. I know you're busy and I have a million things going on too, but I'm glad I caught you. You've been wildly successful and I've always respected the way you've done business. I've recently started something new and I'm looking for some sharp people. It's not for you, but I wanted to ask, who do you know who's ambitious, money motivated, and would be so excited about the idea of adding a significant amount of cash flow to their lives? They say they do know some people. I understand that you want to know more about it before you recommend people, and I have a DVD that explains exactly what I'm doing and the kind of people I'm looking for. It's brief. If I sent one to you, would you review it? They say they would. Thanks. When do you think you could view it for sure? They say next Monday. Okay, so if I called you next Tuesday, you'll have reviewed it for sure, right? Okay, I'll chat back with you then. What's the best number and time for me to call? They give the information. Okay, great. Thanks again. I appreciate it so much. Talk to you next Tuesday. A cold market prospect who's done a good job selling you something, a direct approach. Now isn't the time to get into this, and I have to go, but you're super sharp and I happen to be looking for some sharp people. Do you plan on doing what you're doing now for the rest of your career? They say no. Good, I have something that might interest you. Now isn't the time to get into it, but I have a DVD that explains it all in great detail. If I give it to you, would you watch it? They say yes. When do you think you could watch it for sure? They say Sunday. So if I called you Monday, you'll have reviewed it for sure, right? They say yes. All right, I'll check back with you then. What's the best number and time for me to call you? They give you their information. Okay, here it is. Thanks again for the excellent service, and I'll talk to you soon. Are you feeling the flow of how this works? Obviously, there are many possible variations for different kinds of prospects, but I hope these examples help you understand how everything comes together. In terms of scripts, it's best if you get the basic concepts down and don't focus too hard on the exact script. Life doesn't work that way, but if you learn to let your prospect know you're in a hurry and then compliment them, then invite them, pass on the tool with, if I, would you, then confirm using the process I described, and finally get off the phone or complete the invite, you'll do just fine. Remember, in recruiting, there are no good or bad experiences, just learning experiences. On your journey to becoming a network marketing professional, the best thing that can happen is for you to develop the skills to recruit on demand in any situation. Then you never have to worry about being lucky. So practice, practice, practice.